Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion specifically about Warhammer Fantasy models and those you can still find in start collecting kits in Age of Sigmar. So I've noticed recently, since the announcement of Warhammer the Old World, that there's been a recent surge of people wanting to play Warhammer Fantasy. And yes, while we're still about 4 years away from the release of the Old World, you can still play 8th edition now, or any other edition that you choose. Bear in mind that most of the start collecting kits that are compatible with Warhammer Fantasy or the End Time series itself are online right now, but they are pretty much just compatible with 8th edition going forward, and not a lot of models are compatible with 6th. But I wanted to highlight these boxes because, well, they are very good value for money, so we'll go over them just a little bit. Some of these boxes are specific to 8th edition to End Times, and some of them are just pretty much just for the End Times, but I'll highlight them as we go through them. Please bear in mind, guys, that I won't be going through all the variants that you can make in the box and so on. I just kind of want to highlight these in case you're thinking of starting a specific army. Now, when it comes to Warhammer Fantasy models that are still available, which is still pretty much around 60 to 70% of the original 8th edition range, I will be doing a video highlighting all those models eventually, and we'll be going through them in a bit more detail. But without further ado, let's get started, shall we? First is the Start Collecting Seraphon kit, which translates to Start Collecting Lizardmen. It's a pretty good kit for what it's worth. It starts you off with some basic core, which is your Saurus warriors, the guys on foot, some Cold One riders, and obviously a choice of command, whether you want them on a mount, being the Carnosaur or Troglodon, or on foot. It gives you the option for the big monsters too, such as the Carnosaur or the Troglodon. Next is the Start Collecting Sylvaneth kit, which is pretty much start collecting wood elves without the elves and more of the wood. Bad joke aside, you get a spellcaster, you get a treeman, and a bunch of core units. It is important to note though that the treeman here was updated around the time of the End Times, so he is a bit larger than the usual 8th edition base standard. A lot of people won't care about this because it's pretty much a monstrous unit and it won't be joining any units anyway, but it's always good to check up with people because you might get that guy who'll complain. On our third spot we have the Start Collecting Anvil Guard pack, which translates to Start Collecting Dark Elves. It's honestly one of my favourite start collecting boxes. It starts off with some core, a Carabus which you can turn into a Hydra, a Scourge Runner Chariot, and a Black Art Fleet Master. Pretty much the basic units that any Dark Elf player would actually be using, to be honest, so it's actually really good value for money. Next we're moving on to Start Collecting Grey Water Fastness, or pretty much Start Collecting Dwarves. No core choices in this box, however, it's actually quite good. It gives you Belegar Ironhammer, Grim, so that's already 2 named characters, 10 Hammerers, and a Gyrocopter / Gyro Bomber. Unfortunately no core here, and it is very hard to find core at the moment since, they got removed, but it's a good way to start, plus, 2 named characters. The Start Collecting Slaves to Darkness box, or Start Collecting Warriors of Chaos box, is very important to look at the moment. We know that GW are going to be updating the cast, and we don't know if they are going to stay on to be able to purchase, or they're just going to be removed until the Old World is released. It's quite good of a box, honestly. It comes with knights, it comes with a chariot, it comes with a spellcaster, and a lot of core for just Warriors of Chaos. It's honestly one of the best boxes there, and to be honest, if you're trying to get into Warriors of Chaos, buy it now before it's too late. We still don't know exactly when this box is going to be removed. Start Collecting Skaven Pestilence, or Start Collecting Skaven. It's got no core, but with a little bit of conversions, you can pretty much just get 2 heroes straight off the bat. And hey, if you buy 2 boxes, you can end up with so much more. Honestly, it's a very good kit. Plague Monks are cool, the Screaming Bell is cool, the Plague Furnace is cool, which is why I always recommend getting 2 anyway. Remember, this is the Skaven after all. Your troops are ridiculously cheap in terms of points, and you're going to need a lot. Trust me, a big squad of 40 Plague Monks is absolutely incredible. Start Collecting Demons of Slaanesh. Pretty much the same name as you can expect. The only issue I have with this box is that the chariot is way too large, but pretty much most players will let you use it anyway if you can find an appropriate base size for it. And if you're going to be a Demons of Chaos player, more than likely you're going to be getting the Start Collecting kits for all the demons and all the gods and so on, because at the end of the day you want variety. You've got one of the strongest army books, to be honest. The Start Collecting kit for the Maggotkin of Nurgle is pretty much just End Times units. You can find their rules in the Glotkin book. I believe there was an FAQ that allowed them to be played in standard 8th edition, but don't take my word for it, just check it out yourself just in case. But it's honestly quite good for those who want to theme their Warriors of Chaos army around Nurgle. Start Collecting Beasts of Chaos, or Start Collecting Beastmen. Honestly, this is a box that I've been looking at, and I'm actually going to make a purchase of 2 of them soon. It's actually pretty good because you get the option of the Cygor and the Gorgon. You can get 2 spellcasters by buying 2, a lot of Bestigors, some Ungors. Honestly, it is actually very, very good value for money, and I'm just about to start a Beastmen army myself, so this is always something I had in planned. Start collecting Demons of Khorne, once again, just the same as the one for Slaanesh, but all the units are compatible with 8th and End Time, so you're pretty much good to go from there. Get yourself 2 kits and a Herald, and you can already start having some decent games. Start collecting Demons of Nurgle, once again the same as start collecting for Slaanesh or Khorne, just Nurgle themed as obviously stated. But it's good to start collecting kits for all the gods here because it gives you options. You've got one of the biggest army rosters, you want to be able to mix and match and just work around with different things. It's very rare that you'll see mono-god armies, trust me. Start collecting Demons of Tzeentch, once again as before, we pretty much don't need to go into it, it's just a good way to start off your Tzeentch army. Start collecting Flesh Eater Courts, which is one of 3 for start collecting vampire counts. This is great for those who like poison attacks and Strigoi lore. The Terrorgeist is one of the most important units in a vampire counts army, so I would suggest picking up 2, and watch as your opponent is angry as your Terrorgeist just starts screaming his enemies down. Start collecting Malignants, or, once again, start collecting Vampire Counts. This is a pretty good list for those wanting to actually get some ethereal units. They're really powerful, Hexwraiths are awesome, Spirit Hosts too. It doesn't really come with any core functions, but you can build up with that with zombies and skeletons on other packs. Start collecting Skeletal Horde, and once again, start collecting Vampire Counts. This comes with a few End Times units in the forms of the Mortarchs. However, if you're good with green stuff, you could even convert Arcann's model and actually make Arcann the Black mounted, so you get yourself a free Tomb King Lord. Honestly, you cannot go wrong with this set. We're on the last set that actually is compatible with Warhammer Fantasy, that of start collecting Beastclaw Raiders or start collecting Ogre Kingdoms. Once again, no core, but Mournfang Cavalry are super cool, and so is the Thundertusk, so you can't really go wrong with that. Sadly, there's no other kits such as start collecting High Elves or Empire, stuff like that. But, well, we do what we can. The rest of the stuff, they do have kits, like standard kits and standard boxes, so you can still pretty much build an army. And obviously you'll have to go on eBay for some other stuff, but hey, nobody said this was going to be easy, especially since the old world is a few years now from release. But I hope this video has helped out anyone wishing to start Warhammer Fantasy and start looking at the start collecting kits before jumping off and buying off a full army. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. Once again, my friends, thank you so much for watching. I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.